Once again, leading off by saying thank you to everyone who has stepped up and contributed $1 over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. You guys are making a huge difference in my life, more than you know. It's the lowest allowable level at Patreon and fully refundable up to 90 days. We can partner with Vimeo and take the gloves off. And I have a confession to make to both my YouTube audience and Patreon audience as well. The video that you're about to see here today, I was going to do just for Patreon, but as I got into doing it, I'm like, this is too good. This is way too good. Everybody needs to see this because it's something a little bit personal to me that's happened on this channel over the last few months, where I was trying to, perhaps poorly, make a point about something that people have tried to twist. This idea of grid down, power down, things getting much, much worse, causing an unforeseen rise in prostitution, not just in the bad areas, not just in places where you would expect it, but other places as well. And some people have tried to twist this and say, well, Florida Maquis, you're almost condoning it, and you're pushing it and promoting it. Once in a while, the job here on YouTube is actually fun. Listening to garbage like that makes the job very difficult, but today's video is actually fun, and that's why I'm sharing it both here and will likely share it as well over Patreon. See, this idea that people have about MAGA. Let's make America great again, where we don't have to listen to people like you, Maquis, talk about women selling themselves. It's almost like you think it's the best thing they could do. It's like, no. No, but there's people out there that have been wishing for a long time for the collapse of society where there are no jobs. Not realizing how many single mothers are out there barely making it as it is right now. And how when things go bad, sometimes decisions have to be made. But what's the fun part? What's the fun part? Well, the fun part is coming up because there have been people, largely lauded as Christian and moral influences and influencers over the last 50 to 60 years, that have pushed prostitution at a level far greater than I ever have. And not one word has ever been said. Not one word has ever been said. Now, where do we need to start? Florida Maquis, wait a minute. That is an American hero. How dare you? How dare you besmirch Marshall Dillon from Gunsmoke? Well, you see, there's something a lot of people don't know about Marshall Dillon. I mean, yes, he was a Bronze Star Award winner, James Arness, in real life. And he was the star of Gunsmoke. A lot of people would say, this is what MAGA is. This is what we need to get back to right here. We need to have men like James Arness, Marshall Dillon, that's who we need. Are you sure? Are you sure that you're remembering history correctly? You see, a lot of people don't realize Miss Kitty was a prostitute. No, she wasn't, Maquis. I watched all of those shows, and that was just his girlfriend that... Yep. Really? Really? Do bar owners dress like this? Is this what a bar owner would dress like? This is from the TV show. You see, a lot of people don't remember that it was a radio show. Before it was a TV show. Way back in the 50s. Way back. You know, good old time in America where there was moral value and people didn't tolerate things pushing prostitution. It was a radio show before there was TV. And one of the main characters was Miss Kitty, and it was understood that she was a prostitute. And when they had to put it on TV, and here's a Quora on this. Gunsmoke, Miss Kitty started out as a prostitute. Why was she changed into a respectable saloon owner? Because they had to do the visuals. They had to do the visuals. But when you listen to what she said, you sound like you're selling marriage. Through the entire thing, it was understood. Oh, but it gets even better. Some have said, Florida Maki, why can't you just sing and play guitar? That would keep you out of all this trouble. Nobody would ever. You're a pretty good singer and kind of a pretty good guitar player sometimes. How many of you know who this is? You see, there's levels of royalty in country music. And Tanya Tucker is among the legends. She's amongst the rarefied air of royalty of country music. She's amongst the Conway Twitties, Charlie Pride, Loretta Lynn, God rest her soul, all those folks. What if I told you one of her most popular songs promoted and pushed and lionized the idea of a madam picking up a 15-year-old girl off the street and teaching her to be a prostitute? I never heard that song. You sure did. You sure did. You just forgot about it. See, this was Tanya Tucker back in 78. A lot more people have heard of Tanya Tucker than have heard of the Florida Maki. Now here's the song on YouTube, and you can go find it. It's a video for the song called Bed of Roses. It was a song that was originally written by Harold Reed of the Statler Brothers. The Statler Brothers, a quartet largely known for singing gospel music. They, of course, had quite a few other major mainstream country hits, but the Statler Brothers are largely known in modern context as a gospel group. But he wrote a song called Bed of Roses. This is the Statler Brothers from back then. This was the album back in the 70s. Remember MAGA? Make America Great Again. Let's go back to when there aren't people pushing prostitution like that evil Florida Maki guy. They even show a picture here of a woman laying on a bed in a red dress. Content of the song, for those of you who haven't heard it. It's easy to find. Not the Bed of Roses, Bon Jovi, Bed of Roses, ROSE, apostrophe S, Statler Brothers, and or Tanya Tucker. A young orphaned man in a small town has for some reason become shunned by polite members of society and is forced to beg in the streets. His life improves when a streetwalker prostitute named Rose, nearly twice his age, takes him in. He becomes her lover. The song juxtaposes the hypocrisy of the nominally Christian townspeople who would go to church but left me in the street, one of the lyrics, and their envy of Rose, who, quote, managed a late evening business like most of the town wished they could do, with the care and tender love that evolves between the two outcasts. In the female version, sung by Tanya Tucker, the young man is replaced by a younger girl, who in that particular version is 15, in the same situation, who the song insinuates Rose teaches her business to. The song is both a challenge of narrow-minded religion and moralism and a gentle celebration of love. The title of Bed of Roses is, like some of the other Statler Brothers' works, a play on words. This was the 70s. And don't get me started on Fancy by Reba McEntire many years later, song written by Bobby Gentry. And there was some major league controversy at the time because when she came out to sing it at the CMAs, or part of the ACM Awards, she was wearing a dress that you could have seen in any brothel anywhere at that time. And for those of you, the few of you who are unaware of the song Fancy by Reba McEntire, an older woman who has a teenage-ish daughter spends the last of the money that they have with a sick little boy to buy her a quote-unquote dancing dress, basically a prostitute dress, paints up her face, and then calls for the local brothel owner, in this particular case who's a man, to come get her, and he pays her for... This is literally trafficking. It's literally trafficking. The video here is June 17, 2009. And Kelly Clarkson remakes the song, Nobody Cancels Anybody. Tanya Tucker, Gunsmoke. I don't care how far back you go. People have heard of these people a lot more than me. And to put the cherry on the sundae, Randy Travis and Josh Turner, both known for being gospel singers. In fact, recently, Josh Turner did a duet with Sonia Isaacs from the Isaacs Bluegrass Gospel Band. I believe the duet they did was Amazing Grace. And he sang about Long Black Train, about being moral and making the good and moral choice. Randy Travis recorded a song called Three Wooden Crosses, about a prostitute that gets knocked up by one of her Johns, but then has a Bible and then teaches the Bible, the evil prostitute, raising the son in a brothel as a prostitute, but teaching her son about the Bible and the values of the Bible. And that's who's singing the song. The writer. So how far back do we have to go? You think I'm pushing prostitution? Just because I'm making the allegation that as things get worse, it's not going to turn into a video game? Which is primarily what people think is going to happen. They think it's going to turn into some kind of a video game. This has been the subject of song and of TV shows going back a long time, and I've never heard anybody say, you know what, we need to take Gunsmoke and we need to take that off TV. It's got guns and prostitution. I mean, it's got the double whammy. We got to get rid of that. We need to cancel Tanya Tucker. We need to cancel the Statler brothers. We need to cancel Reba McEntire, Kelly Clarkson, Randy Travis, Josh Turner. How far back do we have to go? But I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I guarantee we started out here. People thought, man, that's the man we need. We need more Marshall Dillons. I would wish every governor of every state in the union would have Marshall Dillon be in charge. Every sheriff should be running his office after Marshall Dillon. Marshall Dillon, who had a prostitute for a girlfriend. You just can't make this stuff up. People just have these selective memories. They just ignore things. I didn't bring up the imagery, but largely one of the most lauded sci-fi series that people said it was almost criminal that got canceled after one season was a show called Firefly. You can look that up. Where it was this kind of Western space mix, fusion. Joss Whedon was the creator. It was a very young Morena Baccarin that was part of it, where she was a traveling lady of the night through space, and they would go drop her off at place, and she would go hop into the sack with men all over the galaxy. There are people that have been begging for the return of Firefly. I mean, it's just one after the other after the other. So to hear people say that you're pushing and you're promoting and you're saying all this kind of stuff, it's like, it's hilarious. It is hilarious that I never have seen anybody reference all of these blatant, popular shows that pushed and lionized and actually did promote prostitution as if it were a good thing. So, anyway, Miss Kitty was a prostitute. Fact. Tanya Tucker, the song Bed of Roses, talks about a 15-year-old girl being taken in by a prostitute and being taught the ways, and having done that as a hero. The Statler brothers, known for singing gospel songs. Lots and lots of them. Whole albums of gospel songs. The person who wrote that song for Tanya Tucker is Harold Reed, the bass. And they recorded it as if it was a teenage boy finding his way in the world. And I think it's, and I learned all the things that a man should know from a woman not approved of, I suppose. But she died knowing that I really loved her. From life's bramble bush, I picked a rose. And this might be the biggest of them all. This isn't just circumstance. This is literally trafficking. No one's canceling Reba McEntire. No one's canceling Kelly Clarkson. And Josh Turner, whose biggest song is about making the good and right and moral choice, Long Black Train, does the duet with Randy Travis on Three Wooden Crosses, which talks about a prostitute raising a kid, being a prostitute, but also teaching him about the Bible. Can you please explain why none of you have stood up, said a word, or tried to cancel Randy Travis, Josh Turner, Kelly Clarkson, Reba McEntire, Tanya Tucker, Harold Reed of the Statler Brothers, or the entire show Gunsmoke? Can you please explain? I didn't think so. Like I said, sometimes this job here at YouTube is an incredible amount of fun. And today has been one of those days. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.